Matt Gilgenbach is the co-founder of 24 Karat Games, and in 2012 he released Retrograde. But despite positive reviews, it wasn't a hit with gamers.
Matt spent 4 long and, by the sounds of it, quite painful years of 80-hour weeks working on Retrograde. 750,000 lines of code later, the game was finally finished at a huge financial and personal cost to him and his family, and also to his mental health.
Matt was clinically diagnosed with OCD and depression, and he quite openly talked about this and his journey with Retrograde at the GDC conference last year, and also online in his dev blog.
I have all these obsessive worries and thoughts and fears about, am I making the wrong decision? And it can be paralyzing.
But now, armed with crowdfunding support and many lessons learned, Matt has reached into the darkest parts of his mind to bring us the twisted journey of Neverending Nightmares, and an animated gore warning with this one.
This is a survival horror game, and right from the moment you press start, it's pretty unsettling. The stillness of the art, the lack of colour except for interaction markers and red, the dark pencil-lined foreground haze. Truly does feel like a bad dream.
Yeah, and just like a bad dream, you're initially quite lost and afraid. You wake up in a house. Eerie music plays, and your only choice is to get up and walk. You then move through rooms, trying doors, until something triggers you to reawaken.
Kathy, no!
Then you wake up and try again. It's often brutally violent and confronting at times. Resets range from falling down a hole to self-mutilation.
Yeah, it's pretty intense, isn't it? The fear of this recurring dream and that mood of hopelessness is what really pushes at you with this game. Much of the imagery feels quite familiar too, as many of our dreams have similar themes like running or being chased. I know I've had a few of those loose tooth dreams.
But the resets feel a little bit like that sense of falling but then waking up right before you hit the ground.
Yeah, but they're not punishing because you're often checkpointed somewhere else further along after each reset.
There's more than a few jump scares thrown into the mix, but they don't get repeated, which is nice. The real fear, however, comes around 45 minutes in as you start reaching the game's more challenging puzzles that require good timing.
Yes, and you discover what I like to call nope rooms. Nope.
Definitely nope.
The gameplay itself is actually quite simple, isn't it? You can walk and you can sprint for a time, but if you run out of breath, you'll be stuck for a few seconds. Sometimes these breaks for panting help set the mood. You're not always being chased. But running out of breath when you are being chased will end badly.
The combination of sound and controller rumble is what I noticed the most, Barjo. In queue with music and action, rumble is a big part of the experience, especially when you can't see what's coming for you.
I like this creepy art style, and there is theory about how some of our dreams are in black and white, and it certainly feels like a muffled dream, especially with that haze on the front of everything.
It also just plays in that common negative emotion that plagues all of our dreams, I think, and that's anxiety. And this game certainly creates a lot of that.
Yeah, even that taskbar icon made me anxious to alt-tab back in.
Much like other survival horror games, you're not really supposed to enjoy Neverending Nightmares. It's about creating stress and a particular mood.
Yes, and we spoke to Matt over email about why he wanted to make this game. He said that after the financial failure of Retrograde, he became depressed again and wanted to show people what that was like by using a video game.
Matt also said that while the story isn't autobiographical, the themes are based around his struggles with mental illness. Some of the violent imagery is taken directly from his intrusive thoughts caused by OCD.
The game doesn't explicitly say this is about mental illness, but knowing Matt's backstory certainly helps give the game some context. But Matt also wanted to make a survival horror game first, with hopes of it being a bit of a Trojan horse to raise awareness.
He also said that many people with mental illness have found playing the game to be a positive experience because they recognise themselves in the game and then realise that they aren't suffering alone. But also acknowledging that the dark subject matter could be a trigger for others, which is something to keep in mind if you're considering playing this game.
I thought this was a really interesting experience, and from a gameplay analysis point of view, Neverending Nightmares is about creating tension, and it taps into that intangible world of a bad dream in a really affecting and tactile way. I liked it. I'm giving it 8 out of 10 rubber chickens.
I think I would have liked a little bit more variety overall, and maybe some trickier puzzles. Also, even though the ending is quite abrupt, it certainly stays with you and makes you think about what you just went through, so I'm giving it 7 out of 10.